first 3 games of last season for Bournemouth and Iraola resulted in 5 points. So far this season, after 3 games, the Cherries sit on 6. Another dazzling start to the fresh campaign is checked off for Andoni Iraola, as his Bournemouth side continue to torment the Premier League with his aggressive, fast, direct, tricky style of play. Now, the Spanish manager over the last 12 months has had the spotlight shot down on him a few times, but I think it's time we run it back again. Bournemouth over the summer had lost Dean Howson to Real Madrid, Milos Kerkez to Liverpool, Ilyes Zabani to PSG, Dango Altara to Brentford. 17 outgoings in total, 3 from the 4 of their back line. In terms of incomings, they've made some super impressive business, but losing a significant core to your team, to your playstyle, it leaves a hole that will be spotted amongst everyone. But so far, they've been splendid. A 4-2 unlucky defeat at Anfield, and then following that up with 2 1-0 wins against Wolves and the inform Tottenham Hotspur. The Cherries have picked up right from where they left off last season. Talking of last season, Bournemouth statistically stood out here massively. Within the attacking department, the Cherries were amongst the finest in the division, as you can see towards the top. Before the attack though, the final third is accessed via long direct balls, crosses from wide threats, and very aggressive high pressing. Off the ball, you can gather the Cherries are very aggressive, excelling hugely with winning the ball high, recovering the ball, making interceptions, which of course then spills over to loss of fouls due to that aggression. Collected from the data, we've learnt Iraola unleashes his Bournemouth side into some very high tempo affairs, where on the ball, possession is not a priority but used effectively to attack, whilst their efforts off the ball also collectively attached to the idea of scoring goals, creating chances, exploiting the opposition and moving that ball fast, especially out wide, and all of that would be right. Bournemouth's wide progression is very fast, quite easy and fluid on the eye, and then when it comes to crossing, it's commonly directed to the back post, or a low cross into a runner such as Evan Nilsson to slot away, or a cutback where the space was created by those making the front post run. Quite a large portion of Bournemouth's goals and chances creatively originate from the wide spaces, the 2v1s with the fullbacks, either that or from the space of which they explosively attack in transition, or of course from their high pressing as well. That high pressing is something we're going to analyse just now. So as you can see just here, we have Bournemouth's setup off the ball, specifically against Tottenham Hotspur in their recent win. But this is how they set up. There's no rigid structure because it's not quite man-to-man, but in a way it is coordinated and coached to be such as that, as they all have certain designated man and areas that they need to track. What I like a lot about this Bournemouth team is that there's so much speed, there's so much energy, and there's so much running, physicality, athleticism, dual-winning nature. It truly is fantastic, and it's truly something that's been well targeted within the recruitment. But the style of play you see from Iraola, of course when they attack the box, it's more instinctive with how fast it is, but it's brave. It's very high risk but very high reward as well. The risk comes with high reward, such as 4-1 wins against Newcastle, or wins against the big dogs like Man City and Arsenal. But the system isn't directly man-to-man, despite the fact we've drawn lines to each and every opponent. It encourages you to play out short. Many people against high-pressing systems will just think, go long, it's sorted. But Bournemouth, they do this very well. So they encourage this passage of play to be passing it around the back, as you can see when they close down here, and the obvious option is to play the ball out wide. Well, that's when they trigger the press, is when the ball comes to the player. When the ball comes to their player, that's when they shift across, and that's when they become man-to-man and very aggressive, forcing them to make a mistake or lose the ball, and that's why Bournemouth wins so many high turnovers. Overall, the Bournemouth players keep their distance so they can play out, allowing them to play out, falling into their trap of thinking they can actually play out against Bournemouth. And then when we look high up the pitch when they do go long, they're actually very, very, very well coordinated, as the centre back will track onto the striker, the defensive midfielder as well, and The other centre-back, he may track onto a higher midfielder that's looking to push up. Maybe if there's a player here that's looking to push up, he will jump across when he gets the ball, and if he's dropping in deep, he will stay very wary of where he is going. So when the opposition do look to bypass this high pressing system and simply just hit it along towards the striker, that's where Bournemouth are just so brilliant. Their physicality and ability to win second balls and duels overall is second to none, and that's even without two of their most important players last season, Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook. They're so fantastic at this. They have players such as Tyler Adams, who can do this all day, Gyokeres, the new signing, who's really good within this department. They've got Alex Scott, who's pretty decent there too. But even if they are beaten within this department and the opposition do bypass this line of press, the athleticism and defensive transition is superb. So they get back fairly quick and stay fairly secure. The team covers the pitch so well. There's so much to like here, and where they win the ball most is probably within this area. It's between that midfield and attack. That's where there's that little bit of separation where they can attack quickly and attack with space. And as soon as Bournemouth do get the ball back, let's say they've won the ball in and around here, Tyler Adams makes the interception, that first pass has got to be forward. It's very similar to Nottingham Forest when they win the ball. They look straight for Morgan Gibbs-White, or look straight for the flanks of Andoni Iraola last season, or Hudson-Odoi. They're looking straight for that ball forward because every turnover, every opportunity is linked to attacking, it's linked to scoring. It's a very positive mindset, and you can see the players are so well drilled to it. They really believe in it. They really, really enjoy it because it gets the best out of them, and they attack a lot. They don't spend too much time on the ball, which is always good and fun to watch. But the system is fairly adaptable. Against teams like Chelsea, if they've got somebody like Cole Palmer pushing within these areas, you'll have a defensive midfielder like Tyler Adams look to track him, look to completely nullify him within his best attempts to do so. And against Tottenham Hotspur, they did something really, really interesting. Spurs' left side in and around here is so much less technical and fluid than the right side, with Kudus, Porro, Bentancur, whatever. So they forced them to go down to this area. Now, how did they do that? Well, Evan Nilsson was used to block the pass to Romero, so Vicario can't play that short pass to him, so he has to go to Van der Ven. He's the only one free, so Mayo will close their gap here, Tavernier's in and around, so it's really difficult. And this was really awkward for Vicario because Vicario is not the best at distributing the ball. He's not the most confident. He's quite shaky and erratic. So he has to play the ball here. So Vicario is used as that initial trigger. They play the ball into Van der Ven, and that's when the press is properly triggered. Tavernier will close the man down. Alex Scott is close by. Semenyo will close the gap here. Evan Nilsson was purely just used to block that pass to Romero. So Romero can't play the pass, Van der Ven can't play the pass back, or can't play it to Romero. Where's he going to go? He's going to go out wide. That's when Brooks closes him down. There's no pass forward. Gyokeres is strongly onto Richarlison. Smith is onto Johnson. Adams is in and around here. So there's no real easy passing option or easy fluidity for Spurs to progress the ball with. So they're forced to play a ball inside as to where Tyler Adams will anticipate the play, or Gyokeres will anticipate the play, and then bang, they look forward straight away. Sometimes Van der Ven was just playing that ball straight into Richarlison, looking for that physicality and strength and hold-up play, but Gyokeres was absolutely fantastic. Completely nullified them, and physically was just so impressive. To me, Bournemouth really exploited one of Spurs' biggest weaknesses. For one, their left side with Brennan Johnson, with Jed Spence. It's obviously a lot less fluid than their right side, so they completely denied them access of that. But what they also exploited was Spurs' lack of forward passes within that midfield. Paulinho, Bentancur, Papi Sarr, they're not line breakers, neither are the defence besides Romero maybe. So they nullified this, exploited this, and Spurs lack problem solvers, and it massively showed statistically, as you can see. All that possession, yet just 0.19 XG, 0 big chances created, just 5 shots. It was brilliant. Iraola got it absolutely spot on, and that shows how he prepared for his opponents. Of course, you want to play this similar way every single time, but it shows that he can shift the system. The system is adaptable and they can change. Spurs within that first half were completely cramped within their own half, only managing 1 or 2 shots, which was quite embarrassing for Tottenham Hotspur. They completely had nowhere to go. And where would you go? You look for certain passes, but with Bournemouth's ability just to win second balls, to clean up the play, even without Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook, which I was so impressed by, it is absolutely fantastic. Kluivert is coming back from injury as well, so they're missing out on him. But it just shows how good they are, how clinical they are, and how brilliant of a system and how brilliantly well coached they are. It's truly fantastic. Iraola is one of the best managers in the Premier League. And although we've already covered their on the ball intentions, you can see this just here just to demonstrate that they really look to commit the fullbacks forward. Adrien Truffert, I did a video on him months ago when he first joined. I was super impressed by the signing, but his athleticism that he's shown so far, I've been so impressed by. It's probably something I didn't quite anticipate to be this good. He pushes high and wide, and it creates very awkward scenarios for the fullback in Pedro Porro, who is defensively a little weak. So when Semenyo drags him away, Truffert can find all of the space, and they're very good at pinging these long balls into the channels for the fullbacks to run onto. Gyokeres was fantastic at it last season. The wingers come a little bit narrow, so the fullbacks can aggressively push up, and then the midfielders from there will handle any second balls, or of course if the ball comes to them, they'll forward pass and run into these channels as well. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. What do you think of Andoni Iraola and how good of a manager he really is? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.